symbol over there.
You know what? It's really challenging to write happy songs. I don't know why. I've tried, but I always feel like I can't be serious about it.
Life is like a dream, a world of make-believe. I liken what I see to worlds within your reach. I cannot decide decisions that you write, but I can let you know that you are not alone. So listen when I tell you that the movement that you want stands right in front of where you are. The purpose that you're given is the mission that I've known. We'll both be on the radio. You're finding what you're needing.
I don't feel like I'm Jeremy Egger there on the stage when I'm up there and I'm singing. I'm taking on a whole new character role. It's sort of like the universe is making me become something else, and I'm becoming that because that's just part of the mission of the music, and I'm basically tapping into something. I've always struggled with confidence, and there's always been a lot of self-doubt. It's been a constant battle for me, just because I feel like I have to present myself in a certain way or something, you know. But when I write, I can take my time, sit and just think through things. I like to think through things. And I always give thought to anything that I say, and especially anything that I write. There's always a lot of thought that goes into it. And just having that ability to take my time, I feel like that's just the best avenue for me to express myself. What happened was I was a passenger in the backseat of somebody's truck, and we got T-boned. It was a snowy day, the roads were slick, and we were just coming a little too fast at the intersection, and then he tried to hit the brakes, but we skidded out right in front of the car that was coming, and it hit us at, 20 miles an hour. But that was enough for me in the back seat, who decided I'd clench my head really tight like this, and that was probably the worst thing I could have done, because what I did by doing that is it made my brain jar even more so in my own skull. It was just bouncing around like a piece of jello. My head didn't hit anything, or at least I don't think it did, because I didn't have any bruises or anything on my face. It wasn't, it was just like my brain bounced around inside my skull. Later that night, after I got home, I remember going to sleep, and I felt like I was having like abstract thinking and abstract thoughts that I had no control over that. And I don't even know if I dreamed or anything that night, or I can't really remember. It just felt so weird. It was like my brain was an abstract painting of thoughts, just random things firing. And I actually had a calculus test the next day in my math class, and I had studied like that night before, and I managed to ace the test the day after the brain injury. Okay, so that's weird. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, things just kind of compounded. It got worse and worse. I got foggier and foggier. And I do remember like picking up a book though and trying to read it like a couple days after the accident, and it just wasn't sinking into my brain at all. I don't know, I was a clueless teenager. I don't know how things with adrenaline or the brain works. I was, coming up with my own excuses at the time of why or what was going on. My parents thought, I must have had a concussion, and that's what was causing a lot of the stuff. So I finally went to a doctor after a couple of weeks of dealing with just not knowing what was going on. He said that I had post-concussive syndrome. You go and you research what that is, and it's just like a broad term describing like anything that could happen symptom-wise after you have some kind of brain injury, whether it could be severe or mild or whatever. So that really didn't give me much to go off of.
Pour me some water, my thirst is strong. This well is dry, I'm vulnerable. Trapped in dark's oblivion, plan my escape while I'm still young. Silent screaming, my passion trumped. I buried thoughts where I belong. Tell them all I will not bow to their deceitful ignorance. Oh, thirst is strong, this well is full of ignorance.
I go to a neurologist that's what somebody that the doctor recommended me that I go do, and the neurologist could tell that I had an injury and it was affecting my memory, and he could just tell, like, from talking with me and how I was responding to him, that there was something that was off. I'm sure he's seen so many patients with brain injuries and stuff, he could just tell. And he recommended that I go see a cognitive therapist. One of the things that I struggled with the most was actually oral memory. When somebody would be talking to me and just hearing and trying to put together, like, all the words and the sentences and ideas from somebody speaking to me, my brain was not able to do that very well. One of the tests that she gave me that I remember the most distinctly is she read a short story to me, and this is to test my oral memory. And there's about like 15 basic details in the story. And she just asked me to repeat the story, to see how many of the details I could get. I could remember 2 things out of 15. That's how bad it was. Like, the average person could remember at least half, 7. Knowing myself, because I had a really good memory in high school, I could just, like, pick things up pretty quickly. I probably could have remembered, 10 or 11 of those details prior to the injury, but there I was only able to remember 2. And being tested like that and having that as the starting point and seeing that as my score, that was demoralizing for me. And that was the beginning of the whole thing. And so it was like, okay, I'm at 2 now. Where am I going to be at the end of the summer? By the end of the summer, I was at 4. Okay, so yeah, I improved myself by twice as much, but it still was not 7. And it was nowhere near like where Jeremy Egger was prior to injury, which I could have, done like 9 or 10 or whatever. Most of the bad memories from my accident come from that. You're seeing the progress and you're seeing how slow it is. And it just made it that much more frustrating for me. And then college was starting up right after that. So there I was, I could remember, okay, 4 things out of 15. Now I have to go to college. God, man, that was rough.
Had my daily dose, it caged this curse in me. I want the world to know I'm not a ghost who's free. So let me go and lay my hearts to rest. Tell me how to reach a garden without hurts. I want my lungs to breathe without this rage between. So let it out. Allow my thoughts to rest. test this fire in me. I live my daily dose. I need my heart to believe that there is always hope, despite my daily dose, despite my daily dose, despite my daily dose, despite my daily dose.
I guess I shouldn't skip over this part of that summer of hell with that therapist. After leaving one of the sessions, I just had an anxiety panic attack, and that was the day that I ended up in the psych ward at Providence here in Anchorage. So I was screaming at the top of my lungs that I was like, I couldn't stand this anymore and I wanted out. I was parked in my mom's parking lot where she worked in Palmer, that MTA, and she had never seen me like that ever, because I'm usually very quiet, and there I am screaming at the top of my lungs like I want to end it all. So she was, of course, worried. She brought me in to the ER, and then the nurse there, her daughter had experienced a brain injury, and she described to me the story of how, like, I guess her daughter, like, her personality completely changed. I don't really know if I had any of that occur. Nobody's told me, like, my personality has changed, but that happened to be the case with her, and it was very difficult for her as well, the nurse told me, but she made it through, and so that gave me some hope.
Tell me I'm your everything. Build me up until we're one. Falling into atrophy. Holding on to what we lost. Slowly pressing every memory. Won't these feelings today? Hold me, I'm alone tonight. Feed me, I'm alone when it feels so unending. Hold me, I'm alone tonight. See me, I'm alone, sad and alone. When it feels like a one-man show. Don't you dare untangle me. Tempted by the words you pose. Suddenly remembering all the reasons that we lost. Pushing, needing shoulder, meaning, wanting outer Hold me, I'm alone tonight. Feed me, I'm alone when I'm take my time for this heart to heal. Feel the light. Better luck when it comes next time. Be the one I want to be. Forget this past that's haunting me. Hold me, I'm alone tonight. Feed me, I'm a lonely man. When it feels so unending. Hold me, I'm alone tonight. See me, I'm a lonely sad man. When it feels so unending. Hold me, I'm alone tonight. See me, I'm a lonely sad man. When it feels like a one-man show.
There was a pretty magical moment that happened before I was ever like known at all, and I was just writing songs on my acoustic guitar, and before I was even with Photonak. Would post a lot of acoustic stuff on MySpace when MySpace was a thing at the time. And somebody sent me a message on MySpace out of the blue asking me for a CD because it was something they said that was like really touching to them and was helping them get through some difficulties they were going through at the time. And they wanted to pay for it and everything. And I didn't have a CD that I made. I had like random recordings that I did, and I told them, well, you know, I can just I'll burn a CD for you, and I'll mail it to you. And they wanted to throw money at me. I was like, no, don't take it. This is just like, I scribbled with permanent marker like Jeremy's acoustic stuff, and sent it off to him. So the name of this person is Carol Sepelu, and at that time, so this is 2008, she's really well known now for being an ultra marathon runner. She is big in the running community. She lives in Nome here in Alaska. But yeah, at that time, she was going through depression. She was a suicide survivor. When she told me that my music made an impact on her life, and then I was helping her get through stuff like that, spoke to me in such a huge degree that like it made me feel like, oh, so what I'm doing is actually working. It's actually reaching people. It's not just this illusion that I have in my head of some mission that I feel like I have to be on. It's actually it's successful, and that was huge for me. It was really huge for me. That's all it takes. You have these artists who have, you know, millions of fans, and I'm sure plenty of them just, you know, they're just like digging the music. They can't really relate to it. It's not making like a huge impact. So some artists just do music just because, you know, it's cool to experiment with new sounds and stuff. But this is really something where I feel like it needs to bring people out of that dark place that they're in. And the fact that it affected just one person in the way that I intended. Carol is worth 10 million fans to me, honestly. And if that's all I get out of this too, and with Photonak is reaching just, I don't know, 10 people like Carol, I would feel successful.
Fire anyway. I am sure life alone. I am nothing without love, but I fight it